Happy Friday, Farm Bureau. Week 2 of the Virginia General Assembly is in the books and things are really picking up steam. Committees and subcommittees are now meeting regularly to discuss bills, and several that we had a close eye on were heard this week. Jake, can you update us on a few?
Sure thing. On a positive note, Senator Stanley's SB 911, which would have required a 5-day notice to VDACs and all beekeepers within 5 miles of any aerial application, was heard in Senate Ag and was successfully defeated 12-1. Farm Bureau was opposed to this legislation due to the negative economic impacts this could have caused farmers having to delay applications of crop protectants for pests and other diseases. In the Senate Rural Committee subcommittee this week, Senator Hackworth's Senate Bill 921, which would have created a large animal grant program in the Office of the State Veterinarian, was passed favorably, as well as Senate Bill 890 carried by Senator Perry, which modernizes some of our commodity boards and updates their production regions. Kaylin, how did we fare in other areas?
Unfortunately, bills on increasing the state minimum wage and removing the farm worker exemption from it passed out of committee this week and are being sent to appropriations. We heard these bills last year, if you remember. They passed both chambers and were vetoed by Governor Youngkin. We opposed these bills last year and we oppose the bills this year. We hope they meet a similar fate.
There's been a lot of discussion in the last few years around the Capitol regarding invasive species, and we know how big of an issue these are to control on our farms. Delegate Seabold's House Bill 1941 was heard this week in subcommittee and voted out favorably, which we supported, which would require the labeling of invasive species at the retail point of sale. This bill will be heard in full committee next week.
One thing we can all agree on is the value of ag education in our public schools. Delegate Hillary Pugh Kent's House Bill 1909 to establish an advisory commission on ag education passed the Education Committee this week and is now headed to appropriations.
Looking ahead, we've got our annual legislative day on February the 3rd, and we've been busy setting up appointments for county farm bureaus, and we're making sure that our urban legislators will hear from you all as well.
We certainly look forward to seeing everyone on Legislative Day. Next week, we will catch up on big topics like solar, data centers, and water issues. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you again next week.